It's more about culture, and he defines culture as being mindsets, the way you view the world, the skills that you have, and even your work habits. And so that it's culture ultimately that makes the difference between those groups that succeed and those that lag behind others.
Because there is an idea here, especially in the United States, where we say, okay, the Italians are a certain way because of how American society acted on them. Black people are a certain way because of how American society acted on them. Jews are a certain way, right? And it goes on through every single race. But it's all about the environment. It's just about how a certain society has created these conditions. But what Thomas Sowell does here is he says, well, yeah, there's an environmental factor, but there are broader environmental factors that actually people, particularly if they've been transplanted from one place to another, and in the last 200 years we've seen more people move around the world than ever before in human history, you have other environmental factors that might have taken place 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago that shaped a people, and the people don't lose that culture just because they moved from Sicily to America or from Kenya to America or wherever. So he's playing with all of these factors. I think the subtitle here is very important, which is we talk about worldview as though that's just your ideology or that's your perspective. But he's saying a worldview because he's looking all around the world. So he's looking at how these groups interact around the world to try to see, okay, what is just particular about America, but what is true of various groups elsewhere?
And you're absolutely right. That is one of the reasons that the book is so compelling, is that it's so easy to limit our thinking about what does race look like and culture look like within our domestic and more current contemporary world. But when you look at it over time, over hundreds of years, looking at slavery, looking at movements of people, looking at ascendance and then retrogression.
Yeah.
And that can happen even in communities that at times have been at the very top in terms of success and then find themselves lagging behind others, either because they've moved or they've changed their mindset and their culture. The other thing that's really interesting about it is he's looking at it from a world perspective and a global perspective. So the things that we tend to think of as just being uniquely American aren't necessarily true, that they are reflected around the world, that there are groups and subgroups that lag behind others because of the way that they exercise their culture.